this yoga practice that's part of my Fearless Play series. This is the short version. If you're interested in the longer 60-minute practice, just click right here. For this practice, you're going to need some props, maybe a blanket, although this might be a little high for some folks, or you could use a block. Either way, you're going to set it up so that it's right between your shoulder blades. There is a playlist for this practice, and I'll put it in the notes, in the description. And now, let's get started. If you're using the music, go ahead and start your music. And then those of you that are starting music, once you have your music started, go ahead and lie down. Everyone lie down on your support so that you have that support between your shoulder blades. And the arms are draped out to the side so that the prop actually comes underneath your armpits a little bit. If it doesn't go out that far, that's okay, but just the placement top to bottom is right around, lined up right around your armpits. And then your head is either resting on the ground, or if that's too much tension, put something underneath your head. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Make sure your feet are a little wider than your hips. And then let's set a group intention. May all of us together be protected. May all of us together be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our study together be brilliant and effective. May we not hate or dispute with one another. May there be peace within us, peace all around us, peace to and from everything and everyone we encounter. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then as you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose, bring your awareness to how you feel. Not only physically, not only mentally. Notice how you feel emotionally, how you feel energetically, and even how you feel spiritually. Allow your body to release into the support, to relax, even to open to the support. And notice how as you open up to the ground beneath you, you also open up to the air. And just kind of play around with the air for a moment. I mean, even if you're feeling a little desafinado, you can do something like with that. Desafinado is a musical term. I think it's Portuguese. And it means slightly out of tune. And so there's a lot of different kinds of music where if an instrument or a whole orchestra were slightly out of tune, people would be freaking out before a performance, trying to get everything situated. But not in jazz. In jazz, they do something with that feeling, that sound of being slightly out of tune. They turn it into something magical, something remarkable, kind of like a poem, something that gets us to look at things in a slightly different way and to go a little deeper. So take a moment to go a little deeper. On your next inhale, begin your Ujjayi pranayama, breath of victory. Bring a slight constriction to the back of your throat as you inhale through your nose. Maintaining that constriction as you exhale through your nose. Creating an audible and expansive breath. An oceanic and heat-building breath. A detoxifying breath. A breath that brings your awareness to that on which you focus. But also that whole practice, that whole process of focusing every time you inhale, every time you exhale. I mentioned on the blog that today's practice will involve some fearless play. And that's reflected in the playlist. A little fearless play with Duke and Satchmo. Duke Ellington was born today in 1899. His full name is Edward Kennedy Ellington. Very posh, very sophisticated name. And in fact, as a child of two musicians, he was dressed like a dandy at a very young age, taught manners, and carried himself with a certain aristocratic bearing. So much so that another one of his childhood friends, when they were still in elementary school, started calling him Duke. Of course, Duke Ellington said that his friend just gave him the title so that he would be worthy, that Duke would be worthy of the other friend's friendship. But either way, he went through his life as a Duke, became a musician that was, and a composer, a performer, known for his innovation. And in some ways, for what I would refer to as fearlessness. I often think of fearlessness when I think of jazz, and especially improv, that ability to say yes and, to know the rules and to break the rules. But if you've ever played in a band, if you've ever played in an orchestra, especially a jazz band, and especially when there's improv, then you know that one of the key elements to playing with an ensemble is focus. You have to be able to focus on what you're doing when it's your time to play and when it's your time to be silent. You can't be distracted by something really cool that someone else is doing. You have to take that deep breath in and then use that deep breath out. As we move through this practice, I'll be offering prenatal modifications as well as modifications if you want to skip the arm balance. Remember that at the beginning of the Kiss My Asana Yogathon this week, we started over the weekend, started with an asana, very common to all of us, Tadasana mountain pose, which is also Samastitihi, equal standing, but I referred to it as Ella's pose, as it was Ella Fitzgerald's birthday over the weekend. And there's another jazz great. We know her for her singing, but there was a moment early in her life where she made the decision to sing instead of dance. Ironic that I'm bringing this up on today, which is International Dance Day. Take a moment to, as you exhale, flex your ankles so your soles press towards the wall away from your head. Press your heels down, press your hips down. Engage your quadriceps, the four big muscles on your thighs, so that the kneecaps are lifted. And still lying on your back with that elevation, start to engage that elevation. Press the wrists down, backs of the hands down, elbows down, shoulders down, extend and expand. And press your head down. Not so much that you feel strain in your neck, but you still want that sweet spot. So you can tip the chin to find that place where there's relaxation in your neck, but also some effort there. And then to really get into Ella's pose on your back here, lift your arms slightly off the floor, just a little bit higher than your hips. Remember, we did this initially standing, and as if your hands were on the back of the shoulder blades of two children, priceless, treasured children that were being presented to the world as a gift. As children, I told you, were two sides of yourself. Maybe your physical self and your mental self, your emotional or spiritual, your profane or your sacred. It could be your creative side and your analytical side. But either way, you're pressing them forward. And as you'll see again, and you may even feel here, there's a little lift that's happening. In addition to the lift that you gave yourself with the props. And so start breathing into that space behind your heart. As you inhale, go in through the front. And as you exhale, come out through the back. Matthew Sanford, the founder and founding teacher of Mind Body Solutions, today was talking about breathing from your back body, breathing from the back of your ribs. And to me, it feels like having someone put their hand right behind your shoulder blades and pressing the air out. So as we move through this practice, I want you to see if you can cultivate that kind of awareness, breathing into the front. And as you exhale, pushing the air out from the back, like you're the child and somebody has their hand right between your shoulder blades. Next time you inhale, take a full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. As you exhale, walk your feet in towards your seat, extending through your low back. Prenatal modification is to keep the feet on the floor. Everyone else, you can bring your knees into your chest. Go ahead and remove your props. Gently rock side to side. Make little circles with your knees in one direction and then the other direction. You're just going to work out that cottontail a little bit. You have your feet on the floor for that prenatal modification. You can open your knees up and then tilt them together. If you want to get into your hip flexors when your knees are in your chest, separate the knees, rotate them in circles towards each other and then away from each other. And then you have options here. You can roll over to sit up, or prenatal modifications to roll to the left, or bring your hands to your bottom, slide your fingers up to the creases in your knees, and just like a child on a swing, rock up and back 5 or 6 times. Angle your body so you tap each corner of the mat at least once with both feet. And then after that 5th or 6th rock, come up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. Hands together at your heart center, or you could have one hand at your heart, one hand at your belly. Either way, sitting up nice and tall as you inhale, relax your shoulders down your back. Find that sweet spot in your chin so that you're holding your neck is holding your head up, but you're not focused on the tension or the effort. And then bring your awareness to your goal, your desire, your reason for being on the mat today. What's your aspirational focus? And then bring your awareness to someone other than yourself. Who is your energetic focus today? To whom would you like to offer your practice, your efforts? And as you bring your awareness to that other person, let's unify the breath. Exhale all your air out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. As you inhale, resume your ujjayi. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your nose with that slight constriction at the back of your throat. Fill up as you inhale. Empty out completely as you exhale. And then next time you inhale, blink your eyes open. As you exhale, relax your arms down, stretch your legs out in front of you so you're in Dandasana staff pose. You have compression in your low back and hips. You probably want to sit up on top of something. Give yourself a little extra space in your hips and your low back. And then bring your hands outside of your hips. Press your hips down, heels down, hands down, all to lift your heart up. Relax the shoulders down your back. Find that sweet spot for your chin. And you may find that when you have that place, that balance between effort and relaxation in your neck, you're not straining your neck, but you are holding your head up, that you also have a little bit more awareness of your low back. And then next time you inhale, stretch your arms out and up, maybe even look up, shoulders down your back. And as you exhale, bring your arms down, bring your chin down. From the back of the body, as you inhale, stretch the arms up. As you exhale, bring your arms down and your chin down. And so we're just flexing and extending the cervical spine, flexing and extending through the shoulders. Keep reaching the arms out and up and out and down. There's a different engagement if you come through heart center, but see if you can sweep the arms out and up and then out and down. Navigate with your neighbor as you need to. And notice how as you move your neck, you move your head and arms and shoulders. Notice how that feels in your low back. Next time you exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, lift the head up so you're gazing forward. Shoulders down your back. Turn the palms forward. So rotate the arms out from the shoulder girdle and slide the arms slightly forward and up. So just ushering, again, those children forward. Shoulders down your back. Yeah. See if you can cultivate that same experience you had when you were lying on your back with the support. Next time you exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Bring your right foot up and over, right foot on the left side of your mat, shoulders down your back. You can keep your left leg extended to start, or you can bend your left knee. But I'm going to suggest keeping the left leg extended. Make sure the bottom knee is comfortable. Make sure your sit bones are balanced. And then inhale your arms overhead, shoulders down your back. Rotate the pointy part of your elbows towards your left big toe and then a little closer to your nose. Notice if you were to bring your arms down, you'd be back in that upper body Tadasana mountain pose. Urdhva Hastasana, arms reaching overhead. It's the same pose. So we're going to play a little bit. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, rotate your upper body to the left, so away from your knee. Bring your left hand behind your hip. Right arm can come to the inside of your right leg. And then reach your right hand down to your right foot. Press down, lift up as you inhale, twist and rinse. It's an open twist. Shoulders down your back. You can gaze over the left shoulder, over your chest, or over your right shoulder, but from your base, rotate up. On Saturday, I started really focusing on asana, on the seat. On Sunday, I talked about using the breath as a way to gauge the effort in the pose. How much effort does it take for you to find your breath and be aware of your breath? Those two elements together, asana, the seat, the pose, pranayama, the awareness of breath, the extension of breath, the control of breath, form your physical practice. Hatha yoga, regardless of the style or tradition. Next time you inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, give your right knee a little squeeze and then rotate the right knee down. So you have half of a cow face legs. Squeeze your thighs towards each other. So you keep the right leg over the left and you just rotate the knee down so that if the left leg is extended, you're pointing your right knee at your left toes. If the hips are really tight, maybe sit up on top of something. Definitely keep that bottom leg extended if your hips are tight so that you can rotate the knee down. And then bring your left hand to the floor outside of your left hip. You can keep the elbow extended or you can bend the left elbow, bring the elbow down to the floor of the block. Press your right hip down. And as you inhale, lift your right arm up and over, shoulders down your back. So you're rotating your right palm down from the shoulder girdle. And you're leaning over to the left. Deep breath in. Keep pressing that right hip down. Deep breath out, shoulders down your back. And as I mentioned before, those two elements of the physical practice that make up the physical practice are just 2 out of 8 parts in the philosophy of yoga. And they're not even the first 2 parts. They're the second and third limb. The third and fourth limb. The first and second limbs are the yamas and niyamas, the external restraints and the universal or universal commandments, and the internal observations. So there are 5 of each, and they make up an ethical component. Even if you've never heard of them before, you still come in with some moral compass onto the mat, and you practice with that. And the first one is ahimsa. It's non-violence. It's non-harming. As you inhale, lift your body up, arms overhead. Exhale, relax the arms down. Take a deep breath in, bring the right knee into your chest, give it a little squeeze, and then stretch the legs out, Dandasana staff pose. So notice how you feel on the left and the right side of your body. Next time you exhale, bring the left knee into your chest, give it a little squeeze. Bring your left foot up and over the right so that your left foot is flat on the right side of your mat. And again, I'm going to recommend right leg extended, but for cow face legs, you can always bend that bottom knee. Either way, sit up nice and tall, shoulders down your back. As you inhale, lift the arms overhead. Again, press the shoulders down, rotate the elbows forward. So find that extension through the spine. So from the fingertips to the head, to the shoulders, to the hips, you're in mountain pose. And then you want that balance, that equal standing on both sides of the hips. Press down, lift up as you inhale. As you exhale, rotate to the right. Right hand comes behind your hip. Left elbow comes to the inside of the left leg. Press down as you inhale to lift up. Bring that left hand to your left foot. And just breathe. And notice how it feels as you breathe here. And notice if you can still maintain that focus of breathing into the front of the heart center and breathing out of the back of the heart center. So you're pushing the air out from the back of your heart. That doesn't mean that you take shallow breaths. You still want the breath to go all the way down to your soul and all the way back up. You're just changing your awareness and therefore changing the engagement of your back body. So I'm not going to go through all the yamas and all the niyamas today. We've done that before, and I'll do it again at another time. But I do want to bring your awareness to that second yama, that second universal commandment, which is satya, it's truth, or a dedication to truthfulness. You have to be honest with yourself about where you are in order to practice that first yama, ahimsa, non-violence. Next time you inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hug the left knee, and then rotate the left knee down so the left knee points at the right toes or just points to the front of your mat. Bring your right hand outside of your right hip, keeping that right elbow extended, or bend the elbow, bring it down to the floor or a prop. As you inhale, lift the left arm up and reach it over. Shoulder down your back from the shoulder girdle. Rotate the left palm down. And take a moment to make sure you're still pressing that left hip down. So don't let it lift up because you're extending over to the right. Press it down. So you're creating space between the ribs and the hips as you inhale. And then breathing out of that space on a certain level as you exhale. Duke Ellington at one time was a soda jerk. He made sodas, I think it was at a baseball stadium. And he played a song while he was working to entertain people. He would play the same song, but to different rhythms. And so people thought it was different songs. As you inhale, lift your body up. Exhale, let the arms relax down. Take a deep breath in, rotate your left knee up. Exhale, give it a little hug. And then inhale, stretch the legs out, Dandasana staff pose. And notice how you feel. Take a deep breath in, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, bring your knees into your chest, rock forward into tabletop, or if you're skipping the arm balance, you could always come to your standing squat, elbows and knees bent with the elbows on your thighs. Either way, lengthen out your spine here so that you have that mountain pose from the head to the shoulders and then into the hips. Equal standing between your hands and your feet, or your arms and your legs if you're in that squat. Take a deep breath in, lift your heart, lift your hips, belly drops down. Exhale to puppy dog, hips to the heels, forehead and nose touch the mat, or if you're seated, you just fold forward. Standing also, just fold forward. Knees bent. As you inhale, come back up into your cow. And then exhale back into your hips. So you want to match the movement to the breath. Remember, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. It's all about the rhythm. You don't make the breath shallow so you can move fast. You slow down the movement. And then it starts to feel a little like something different. Next time you exhale, hips to the heels for puppy dog, or next time you fold forward, cross your arms, grab opposite bicep with opposite hand. So you're in the folded position if you're seated. You might want to do that with crossed legs. Take a deep breath in and start to walk the elbows forward or slide the elbows forward so you're down, folded down, and come into Sphinx pose. You're going to stretch your legs out behind you, hips on the mat, elbows under the armpits gives you the biggest back bend, elbows slightly forward gives you a less of a back bend. Either way, start focusing on the asana, the seat. Feet down, pubic bone down, even as you lift your kneecaps up. Elbows down. You can keep the arms crossed. You can turn the hands forward, or you can even take prayer hands here. Shoulders down your back. You can stay here, or next time you exhale, lower your body down. Slide your hands under your armpits for cobra. So now the elbows are behind your back. And then inhale, lift your heart up to Bhujangasana. And cobra poses, you can play here, but make sure that your spine is long. Remember, you want to know the rules in order to break the rules. That's one of the rules of improv. Feet down, pubic bone down. Another one of the rules of improv is to not disrupt the flow of energy. Don't break the momentum. Last inhale here. Exhale, lower your body down. Inhale to table or come into your half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog or come into a standing forward fold. Downward facing dogs. This is your first Adho Mukha Svanasana. So check your asana, check your seat. For this pose, it's your hands and feet. You want fingers spread wide, middle fingers point forward, joints of the thumb and first finger pressed into the mat. As you relax your head and shoulders, take a moment to make sure your big toes are parallel to each other. Big toes behind your thumbs or behind your middle fingers. Either way, press your spine to your thighs, thighs to the wall behind you, hips high, heels low. Next time you exhale, bend your knees a little bit. As you inhale, find that little bit of mountain pose or a lot of mountain pose. So it's just an upside down mountain. From your fingertips to your head and shoulders, through your hips. As you exhale, rotate the pointy part of your elbows towards your big toes and a little closer to your nose. Imagine I can put my hand on your shoulder blade, between your shoulder blades, and press your spine towards your thighs. Imagine you still have that support in your back. Take a moment to scan your body. Maybe even express a little gratitude for the information, the sensation that informs your practice. And then start to move, start to dance. Because we're going to Duke's place. You can bend your knees one at a time or at the same time. Lift one leg high and then the other, or lift up an arm. You can add a twist, come back to your knees, but whatever you do on one side, do something similar or complementary on the other side. Every part of your body does its own trick, plays its own tune. And then it all comes together for the masterpiece. Move through one more full cycle of breath. And then on your next exhale, find stillness. As you inhale, nod your head yes to playing the notes you've been given. As you exhale, shake your head no to putting it all away because you feel desafinado, slightly out of tune. And as you inhale, nod your head yes to the joy of saying yes and to your breath, your spirit, your life.
Feel free to lower down to child's pose.
Take a moment to notice what's shifted, notice what's changed. Notice, as we've been going through this practice, and I've been mentioning how I've been going through this week with the Kiss My Asana Yogathon, that each day there's been a little subliminal or sometimes overt focus on the different limbs of yoga. So yesterday we talked about pratyahara, sense withdrawal, and we're going to do a little bit of that now. But just to get ready, just to get in a little bit more, inhale to high plank cow pose or half lift. Prenatal modification is to bring the knees down and then come into a seated position. You can take that option even if you're not pregnant. Everybody else, you're going to lower down to your belly and then roll over to your back. So we're all in our own solo places. Some people sharing their solo places, but still on the mat, each of us is in our own solitude. And so you could decide as you're scanning your body here that there's something you need other than a twist. And so if you need it, I'd encourage you to take what you need. Otherwise, as you exhale, if you're on your back, hug your right knee into your chest. As you inhale, stretch your right arm out like a T. As you exhale, take your right knee over to the left side of the body. If you're in a seated position, sit up nice and tall as you inhale. And as you exhale, rotate your upper body to the right. So your legs are on the left side, making sure that if you're pregnant, this is an open twist for you. So the knees are down. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh it out. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Take one more inhale. One more open mouth sigh. As you inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, if you're on your back, give that right knee a squeeze. Inhale, full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Exhale, hug your left knee into your chest if you're on your back. Change the cross of your legs if you're seated in a cross-legged position. And then those of you on your backs, as you inhale, stretch your left arm out. As you exhale, bring your knee across your body, gazes up or to the left. If you're seated, you're rotating your upper body to the left, so now the legs are on the right. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. deep sigh out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day and sigh it out. As you inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, give that left knee a little squeeze if you're on your back. Take a full body stretch as you inhale. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little bear hug. And then you can roll over to your side and then sit up, or you can bring your hands to your bottom, slide your fingers up to the creases in your knees, and just like a child on a swing, rock up and back 5 or 6 times. Angle your body so you tap each corner of the mat at least once with both feet. And then after that 5th or 6th rock, come up to a comfortable seated position. If a kneeling position like Thunderbolt or Hero's Pose is accessible to you and you haven't done it in the last day or so, that's an option. Nice little stretch, extra stretch for your quadriceps and knees. Sit up on top of something if you have some low back and hip compression. And so think about this for a moment. The way the philosophy is set up, the way the system is set up, you start off with this ethical component, and then you come onto the mat and you have this opportunity to play with that, to explore, to notice how much engagement and stimulation does somebody need to throw at you for you to forget about being careful, to forget about being mindful, to not be safe? How much effort does it take for you to let go and just trust your efforts and trust your practice? How much heat can you build up? And then that combination of asana and pranayama gets you into this place where you start to really draw your awareness down. And so pratyahara, sense withdrawal, is that turning inward, closing in on one single thing. Remember, as I've mentioned before, when you get to what is the 6th limb, which some people refer to as concentration, what I was originally taught was focus, then you are not only initially focusing on a single element, but also on all the different meanings and aspects of that single element, that object, but also on you focusing on that object and the process of focusing. So Sanmukhi Mudra helps you get into that position. So if you have glasses, you're going to take them off. And normally the ears are second, but we're going to do them last. So as you inhale, stretch your arms out like T's, shoulders down your back, but elbows up as high as the shoulders. Keeping the elbows high. As you exhale, you're going to bend your elbows and take your 2 peace fingers on each hand, spread them wide. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. You're going to bring your middle finger to the bottom of your top lid, so you're essentially sealing the lashes closed, but make sure you're not pinching into your eyeball. You're going to take that's your middle finger, you're going to take your index finger right up under your eyebrow, so you're essentially stretching your eyelid closed. And again, we're skipping the ears for a moment. So take your ring fingers and either press them up to the aperture, so you're changing the aperture of your nose like you're changing the instrument, not so much squeezing in, not so much that you sound like Minnie Mouse, but just a little change. Or you can put the ring finger below the lips so you can feel the breath. And then pinky fingers meet at the seam of your lips, so they're sealing your lips. Shoulders down, elbows out wide. You can, if you have a hearing aid, put your thumbs behind your earlobe so you don't have feedback. Everybody else, you can either stick the thumbs right up against your ears or use the thumbs to close the tragus, those little nubs. But either way, breathe here. Focus on the breath, the sound and the sensation of the breath coming in through the front of your chest, and then as you exhale, pushing it out of the back of the chest. Yoga Sutra 3, 1, and 2 can be translated as locking the mind on an object is focus. Staying on that object over a stretch of time is fixation. The longer you focus, the more all those other elements start drifting away. You let go of that distraction of the process. You just are in it. You let go of that distraction of yourself focusing. You are just absorbed in it. You let go of all the other definitions, and it's just the object. And then you even absorb that. As you exhale, relax your arms down. Keep that internal observation, and then lower down onto your back. If you're coming into Shavasana as your final pose, or you can finish in a seated position. If anybody wants to change their music to the stillness, you could do that, or even to the chakra incarnation. Or drift out like you're in a field of azaleas. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. If you'd like to be guided out of your final pose, reawaken your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Gently rock your head side to side. Gently bring motion to your fingers and toes. Being mindful of the space around you, inhale your arms overhead And take a full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Walk your feet in towards your seat, extending through your low back. Prenatal modification is to rotate to your left. Everybody else, you can roll to your right. And just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Take a moment to notice what you notice here. When you're ready, use the strength of your arms to press up to a comfortable seated position, eyes closed if that's comfortable for you, hands together at heart center. Take a moment to rub the palms together. And then once you've created a little heat, a little energy, a little awareness, place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and soak up that heat, that energy, that awareness. And shake out your hands, and we'll seal in the practice. You can either change which hand is on top, which hand is on bottom, or bring your palms together at heart center. I mentioned that today was International Dance Day. And just like International Theater Day earlier this month, people had to celebrate virtually this year. The International Dance Day was established by UNESCO in 1982. And this year's message writer, Gregory Vayanu Makoma of South Africa, the founder of Vayanu Dance Theater, which is, I believe, located in Belgium, he wrote today that he had to think deeply about dance and what it meant to him. He said, in my response, I had to look into my journey and realize that it was all about purpose. And each day presents a new challenge that needs to be confronted. And it is through dance that I try to make sense of the world. He said that today, more than ever, we need dance. Dance is freedom. And through our found freedom, he says, we must free others from the entrapments they face in different corners of the world. He ends his statement by saying, as we dance with our bodies tumbling in space and tangling together, we become a force of movement, weaving hearts, touching souls, and providing healing that is so desperately needed. And purpose becomes a single hydra-headed, invincible, and indivisible dance. All we need now is to dance some more. Take a moment to consider how your practice is like a dance. And take a moment to honor that. As you inhale, lift your thumbs to your third eye. As you exhale, bow forward. Namaste. And that's the practice. Thank you so much for sharing this time and sharing your practice. Please like, comment with kindness, and when you do,